Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Let me come on to Mr. Corbyn. I would suggest to you, Mr. Newton-Dunn of The Sun, that Jeremy Corbyn is ending this year in a much more secure position than it looked when he first got elected or at the Labour Party conference.
I completely agree with you, Mr. Neil. At the moment, for me, that this all crystallised was during the Syria vote the week before last, where we did generally think that certainly majority Labour MPs, possibly there were majority Labour MPs, would possibly even abstain or vote against what Jeremy Corbyn wanted, despite the fact it was a free vote. And they didn't. 2/3 of Labour MPs and also 2/3 of the shadow cabinet did, because a number of different reasons. Perhaps the Prime Minister's case wasn't that strong, but they felt scared. Right. The Corbyn machine, momentum, the unions put a lot of pressure on them, and that for me was the turning point. I think he's going to
But also he played his part in getting the Chancellor to withdraw on the tax credit front. He has carried the bulk of his parliamentary party on Syria and most of his cabinet as well. And I would suggest, Helen, that the anti-Corbyn forces in the Labour Party are now bereft of a strategy.
Yeah, they have a huge problem, which is if you look at the members, particularly the ones who voted for Corbyn, they think he's doing really well. All this stuff that we've talked about, not singing the national anthem, they don't think they think the PLP needs to get behind him, and that would give him a chance, and the evil mainstream media needs to stop being so blooming beastly to him. The problem with it is, I think actually sometimes we get the narrative on Corbyn wrong. We talk about him as this ideologue. Actually, if you think about it, what of his very deeply held principles has he managed to survive contact with the structures of the Labour Party at the moment? Think about giving that free vote on Syria. You know, he's been a member of the Stop the War coalition since it started. He's been essentially almost a pacifist for 30 years, and yet he didn't say, back me or I'm going. He ended up giving a free vote. You know, we know that he's very sceptical in Europe, but he's not saying that I'm going to join the Out campaign, and so, you know, the rest of you who are all quite in, just, you know, have to fend for yourselves.
But he will now, given that he is ending the year in a pretty strong, secure position, he will, I would suggest, in the new year, start to move the Labour Party, remould the Labour Party, much more in his image and what he stands for.
Absolutely. I don't think there's much chance of there being a successful challenge to Jeremy Corbyn in 2016, and that's because the members are broadly behind him. And the reason that that's a disaster for the Labour Party is because of what will happen in September. The annual Labour Party conference by the seaside somewhere. The people around Jeremy Corbyn will use that moment to push through rule changes to make it harder for the Parliamentary Labour Party and those mainstream forces to fight against what he wants and to embed what they think in terms of official Labour Party positions in the way that Helen's been saying he needs to do. And once he's done that, it's far harder to undo, and that's a big problem for the rest of the party.
When Mr. Corbyn won the Labour leadership, the Conservatives thought Christmas had come early. I would suggest to you, he's actually proving to be a tougher leader of the Labour Party than you thought.
I think only lazy observers would assume that his leadership was going to make life easy for us. He managed to galvanise a huge number of people out there in the country. I think he is so wrong on so many levels, it's beyond belief, but lots of other people seem to think he's right. And we need, as a party, to find ways of countering his political agenda, because it's wrong and it's dangerous, but we need to do so at the same time as understanding why he managed to have such a grassroots appeal.
Okay, now, although you all seem to be agreed he's ending the year on a pretty strong note, the Labour Party Christmas party was not a lot of laughs, according to your report, was it? Tell us what happened.
No, it sounded like a slightly awkward occasion. This is a moment where all the Labour Party staff who work in the Brewers Green headquarters get together, a free buffet, one of the shadow cabinet plays Santa. But you've just got to picture the scene, about 10 tables of sort of staff who all pretty much come from the mainstream, and then one and a half tables of allies of Jeremy Corbyn huddled in one part. And the two clans didn't really mix. There was only one real moment of dissent, it felt like, which was when somebody around about 11:15 put things could only get better on the stereo, and they all piled in, apart from those sitting around the Corbyn table, and that's about as open as Labour Party staff revolts get. But in this case, it was pretty big.
That's fine. Well, speaking of Christmas parties, I want to show you one from the Daily Politics archive. There's a little surprise in it. Let's have a look at this.
Who is our secret Santa? And
Here he comes in now.
Okay, it's a bit difficult to see, so, okay, I'll give you a couple of clues. The first clue is that he's a Labour MP. He's been a Member of Parliament since 1983 for the smallest constituency in Britain. Use your buzzers.
Smallest.
No, okay, next
Number of
clue.
geography.
Next clue, he was one of just 12 Labour MPs to back Plaid Cymru and the Scottish National Party's call for an inquiry into the war this autumn.
remarkable victory.
Lembit?
Bob Marshall-Andrews?
No.
Bob Marshall's
finally-
twice that size.
Well, the beard's
Finally,
deceptive.
he chairs the parliamentary wing of CND and described Gordon Brown's backing for Trident as sad and absurd.
You're the future now.
Meg, you should know this.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Would you like to reveal yourself? Jeremy Corbyn.
I need the beard.
Well done, Jerry. I thought it was the real Santa.
Ties all round.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Don't mind the
Thank you
time.
very much.
While the mince
Thank you very
pies are
much.
being
Oh,
handed
don't
around.
tell the body doctor.
Who? Yes, I'm watching this, Meg. Yes, please, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Jeremy Corbyn having more fun at the Daily Politics Christmas party than it seems he did at the Labour one. Come back with the mince pies, Jeremy Corbyn. Right, some predictions for 2016 in our final few minutes. Will there be an EU referendum next year?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
2-2. Okay. By this time next year, will Jeremy Corbyn still be Labour leader?
Yes.
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 4 yeses, Mr. Corbyn. Good news. If Mr. Cameron loses the referendum, if there is one next year, will he be able to survive as Prime Minister?
No.
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 Yes.
You have to say that
I don't have
from
to.
your
but-
face. Will Philip Hammond remain Foreign Secretary next year?
No.
On what?
Will
Whatever.
he remain
Full
Foreign
stop.
Secretary?
No.
No.
I think there might have to be a reshuffle.
Oh, it's yes or no. That's it. Right. Hilary Benn, will he remain as Shadow Foreign Secretary?
Yes.
No.
No.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Benn. Will the government finally approve a third runway at Heathrow?
No.
Definitely not.
Yes.
No.
Well, I think you might be wrong on that. We'll see. Will we ever get to see the Chilcot inquiry in 2016?
Yes.
No.
But it'll be awful and... no.
I don't know.
Will Donald Trump win the Republican nomination next year?
No.
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 Oh, good God, no.
Okay, 4 no's. I'm probably with you on that. Who's going to be the new mayor of London?
Sadiq Khan.
Probably Sadiq. It's a Labour city.
Sadiq Khan.
Zach Goldsmith, and it's not a Labour city, trust me.
That wasn't a hard one for you, was it?
You have to say that too, don't you?
No, I think
be a
Zach
great story if you
Zach,
said
will,
Sadiq
Zach,
Khan.
Zach will be much, much better at picking up the second preference votes. Much
Oh,
better.
very well. It's a bit technical there for us. Anyway, thanks to you all.